واتقوا يوما لا تجزي نفس عن نفس شيئا ولا يقبل منها عدل ولا تنفعها شفاعة ولا هم ينصرون
তোমরা ভয় করো সেদিনকে যেদিন এক ব্যক্তি থেকে অন্য ব্যক্তি বিন্দুমাত্র উপকৃত হবে না, কারো কাছ থেকে বিনিময় গৃহীত হবে না, কারো সুপারিশ ফলপ্রদ হবে না এবং তারা সাহায্যপ্রাপ্ত হবে না।
What does the next ayah do? وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا لَا تَجْزِي نَفْسٌ عَنْ نَفْسٍ شَيْئًا. Be cautious of a day on which nobody will benefit anybody else. That's your future. What's the thing that will give us guidance in the future? Judgment Day. Judgment Day is guidance. For the past, it's the history that Allah recorded forever in Quran. For the future, it's a constant reminder of Judgment Day. And so both of those have been put together. And either one of them at the expense of the other or without due diligence to the other creates a kind of imbalance. There are people, all they concern themselves with is the afterlife. And they forget about where they're, what this history is and how do you prepare for the afterlife? You have to look at what happened in the past. And there are people who only revel in that's what happened to the Jews. They only thought about their history and a skewed picture of their history and became self-righteous and thought that they have nothing to concern themselves with in terms of meeting Allah in the afterlife. Both of those concerns hand in hand together is the balance of Quran. So anyway, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا, be cautious of a day, لَا تَجْزِي نَفْسٌ عَنْ نَفْسٍ شَيْئًا, no person will be able to compensate any other person. وَلَا يُقْبَلُ مِنْهَا عَدْلٌ, and ransom will not be accepted. وَلَا تَنْفَعُهَا شَفَاعَةٌ, nor will intercession be taken. وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ, nor will they're not the ones that are going to be aided. This ayah is also a mirror of ayah number 48, except the sequence is a bit different. And so I'll make a few comments about that. The first of them is in ayah number 48, where this whole thing began. Allah reminded them of Judgment Day, but the way He reminded them was two things. One, Judgment Day, nobody will help anybody else. Nobody can pay for anybody else. لَا تَجْزِي نَفْسٌ عَنْ نَفْسٍ شَيْئًا. That's number one. Number two, no intercession shall be accepted. Now, intercession is a big word, so I'll replace it with a smaller word, a plea. No plea will be accepted. No attorney will be accepted. Nobody to come in the middle and say, could you go easy on him? He had it rough. Just somebody to stand between you and the judge. That's usually in courts, it's a lawyer, right? Or it's somebody who has a connection. That one will not be there. No intercession will be accepted, nor will any ransom be taken. Now, that sequence is important to understand. That's the first sequence. It's important to understand because it's a very simple psychological sequence. When somebody's committed a crime and they're about to be taken in front of the judge, they would be smart to have someone speak on their behalf, usually some kind of a lawyer, somebody else, right? That would be a shafi'. That would be someone who makes a case on your behalf. Now, if you have no lawyer, nobody, or it wasn't accepted, the lawyer was thrown out, and now it's just you and the judge. Now you have two things: either you're going to do jail time or pay the fine. What would be your option? Jail time or fine? What would you go with? The fine, right? Your first option was the lawyer will get me out of here. Your second option is at least I'll pay a fine. What does Allah do? When He says لا يقبل منها شفاعة, intercession will not be accepted, basically lawyer's no good. Lawyer's no good. What was your second hope? The fine. لا يقبل ولا يؤخذ منها عدل, there's no fine that's going to be accepted. No ransom will be taken. Then the only thing left is punishment. Because the two things that could have gotten you out of it are gone. And then as you're being dragged away and you're screaming, somebody help! Somebody bust me out of jail. So anyone. وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ, they're not the ones that are going to be aided. That's the picture in the beginning. And this is important to note because they thought that even if we do get in trouble with God, the prophets will come and speak on our behalf. We had more prophets than anybody. The Torah will come and speak on our behalf. The angels will testify on our behalf. They'll vouch for us. Even Quran says angels will vouch for us on Judgment Day. نَحْنُ أَوْلِيَاؤُكُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. There are awliya in the akhirah too. Why not? But then as these 80 some ayat are revealed, and it is demonstrated that the prophets you think will come for you ain't coming because you messed up with the prophets. And you became enemies to the angels. And the book you changed and violated. So if anything, they'll testify against you, not for you. By the end, the order of this language has changed. Allah says, لا يقبل منها عدل. No ransom will be accepted. When you say the first thing, by the way, you better watch out because no ransom, no fee will be accepted. It's like the lawyer's out of the question, isn't it? Because it's already been established, the ones that were going to come defend you, they're not going to defend you. If anything, they'll testify against you. So then the first resort for you is actually the ransom, the fee, you know. And so you say, Allah says, وَلَا يُقْبَلُ مِنْهَا عَدْلٌ in this ayah. He says, no compensation, no fee, you know, no fine shall be taken. وَلَا تَنْفَعُهَا شَفَاعٌ. And somebody coming on your behalf is of no benefit anyway for you. I mean, at this point, that should be obvious to you. لَا تَنْفَعُهَا شَفَاعٌ. That's why تنفع, even the word benefit. Because the shafa'ah that could have benefited has been eliminated. وَلَهُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. They're not going to be helped anyway. A similar ayah at the very, very end of the entire discourse is وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا لَا تَجْزِي نَفْسٌ عَنْ نَفْسٍ شَيْئًا. Be conscious of a day on which no person will compensate any other person in any way, shape, or form. وَلَا يُقْبَلُ مِنْهَا عَدْلٌ. The order is now reversed. And so no ransom shall be accepted. وَلَا تَنْفَعُهَا شَفَاعَةٌ. And no intercession will be of any benefit. No intercession. Instead of saying no intercession or no plea will be accepted, the verbiage has changed. No intercession will benefit. لا تنفعها شفاعة. No intercession, more literally, no intercession will benefit such a person. تنفعها. The ha goes back to nafs. وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. Nor will they be aided. The thing I wanted to highlight is the difference between intercession being accepted and intercession being of benefit, right? Because that's the two different verbs that are being used for intercession. And to make the matter simple, in the very beginning of this discussion, the language is no intercession or no plea is going to be accepted. And at the end is no plea or no intercession will be of any kind of benefit. And this is, I thought about this for actually a long, long time, and it just, one of the things that hit me this morning, Allahu Ta'ala A'lam, is there's a difference between how a conversation begins and how a conversation ends. And when this conversation begins, the Israelites have not yet been incriminated. The case against them hasn't been made. It's the first thing that they're being told is, you better be cautious of a day when this is going to happen, right? And when they're thinking of intercession or a plea, you have to think of things that come between you and the punishment of Allah. They're standing in trial in front of Allah, and they're about to get into trouble. What can they put between themselves and Allah as a shield that can protect them from getting into that kind of trouble? The first of those things that can be a shield for them would be the book itself. Like for example, in our case, Al-Qur'anu hujjatan lak aw alayk. The Qur'an is either a shield or a case made for you or against you. Like there's so many hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where you know the hufaz of the Qur'an and the ayat coming and pleading on your behalf or turning into a crown of light on your, you know, and then the light coming out of the chest in Surah Al-Taghabun, meaning people who had Qur'an in their hearts, that iman, that Qur'an turns into light that they can walk with. In other words, on the Day of Judgment, one of the things that makes the case for you, that shields you and protects you, is revelation itself. In our case, it's Qur'an. In their case, it was what? It was Tawrat. So one possible hope that they'll have shafa'ah will be the Tawrat itself. The other shafa'ah, as we know, would be hopefully their prophet. Their prophet can testify, they stood by me, they were loyal to me. And if a prophet makes a case on your behalf, then you're good, right? So there's the book that should make a case for you, make a plea for you. The book itself testifies in your favor. The messenger of that book testifies in your favor. And of course, on top of that, the witness to all of our deeds all the time are who? The angels, which Allah says in Quran, نَحْنُ أَوْلِيَاؤُكُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. We are your protective friends in this life and in the next life, right? So the idea is that even they are going to come and testify on our behalf. As a matter of fact, they're even making istighfar for us as we speak. Now, there are three I've mentioned so far. It could be the book, it could be the messengers, and it could be the angels. Once you go through this entire passage, and so the first thing they're told is, no intercession will be accepted. And the question that might come in the mind of the Israelite is, wait, so the book won't testify on my behalf? Wait, the messenger, Musa won't? All the Israelite prophets won't testify on our behalf? Wait, angels aren't even going to testify on my behalf? How can that be? Why wouldn't it be accepted? Like, because the phrasing is, it won't be accepted, right? And it does beg the question, why shouldn't that stuff be accepted? We are the people of these things. By the end of this entire discourse, what has become clear? they violated and committed crimes against their book. They violated and committed crimes against their messenger. And they committed crimes against the angels. They became enemies to the angels. Man kana aduwwan li Jibreel even. Right? So by the end of it, it's become abundantly clear why it won't be accepted. And so now when you say it won't be of any benefit, it won't be, because you can't say that in the beginning, because the intercession or the plea of the book or the angels or the messenger can be of benefit. It can be of benefit. So that would actually negate the idea that those things are beneficial. But by the end, there's no possibility for the book or the messenger or the angels actually pleading on your behalf. So now you're going to look for an intercession somewhere else. These things are no longer, they've been invalidated. And if you look for something to shield you against the judgment of Allah on Judgment Day, anywhere else, is that of any benefit? No, and that's why by the end the phrasing is, and what intercession is going to be of benefit to you? It's not going to be of any benefit. لَا تَنْفَعُهَا شَفَاعَةٌ وَلَا هُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. They're not going to be aided at all. So it's a profound statement about how, once the case is made, where are you going to go? You have no malja left. You have no refuge left that you can turn to. And thus no other kind of plea will be of any avail.